In this video, we will talk about the origin of Palestine as an identifiable territorial element and the similarity of that region to Israel. To answer this question, we need to provide a brief historical summary of that region. Creating awesome content takes more than meets the eye. Behind the scenes, we hustle to bring you daily free, engaging content, but our hard work is all for you. We strive to deliver high-quality content for your enjoyment and education. If you appreciate our efforts, please support us by liking and subscribing to our channel. This helps us grow and keep producing the awesome content you love. About 3,000 years ago, around the year 1047, before the Common Era, the Kingdom of Israel and Judah was born in that region. It was a kingdom founded by King Saul with a predominantly Jewish population. Next to the Kingdom of Israel, in its southwest corner, there was a small kingdom known at the time as Philistia. According to historians, the Philistines descended from ancient Greeks who mixed with the local Canaanites, establishing themselves mainly in the region of the ancient city of Gaza and the valleys of the Nahal Guvran, Ajalon, and Bima rivers. Even at its height, Philistia never had significant prominence in the region, sometimes orbiting around the Egyptian Empire or the Kingdom of Israel, disappearing entirely from historical references around the year 600 before Christ after being conquered by the Babylonians. The Greeks then conquered the entire region around the year 332, before the Common Era, with Alexander the Great, refounding many ancestral cities. Around the year 6 of Common Era, with the Romans, the region became the province of Judea, named for its majority Jewish population. However, Roman control over the region was never easy, leading to numerous revolts, including the First Jewish-Roman War between the years 66 and 73 of Common Era, resulting in the destruction of the Temple in Jerusalem in the year 70 of Common Era. Around the year 132 Common Era, with Rome at its military peak, the Jews initiated a more brutal revolt known as the Bar Kokhba Revolt. Rome was forced to send a total of 7 legions supported by 50 auxiliary units, totaling around 120,000 Roman soldiers who faced nearly 400,000 Jews, mostly civilians with little military training. 2 Roman legions were completely destroyed, but Rome ultimately emerged victorious in 136 Common Era. In seeking revenge against the Jews, Emperor Hadrian erased the name Judea, renaming it in memory of the ancient Philistine kingdom that had disappeared 730 years earlier. Thus, the name Palestine appeared for the first time in history, not as a reference to a people but merely to satisfy the vengeance of a Roman emperor against the Jews. The destruction caused by Rome accelerated a process known as the diaspora, with many Jews leaving the region and spreading around the world. However, contrary to popular belief, Jewish presence in that region did not disappear, with Jews present in the area since the beginning of the first millennium before Common Era, maintaining a constant presence as the oldest and most ancestral native people of the region. When the Western Roman Empire disappeared in the late 5th century, the region that now corresponds to Palestine was already part of the Byzantine Empire. After the fall of the Byzantine Empire in 1453, conquered by the Ottoman Arabs, that region became an Ottoman province, an administrative entity known as an eyalet, named the Eyalet of Damascus, subdivided into various sanjaks, such as the Sanjak of Jerusalem and the Sanjak of Gaza, which correspond today to parts of Israel and the Gaza Strip. During the birth of the Ottoman Empire, the name Syria-Palestine, invented by the Romans around the year 136 Common Era, was no longer widely used. The name Palestine regained prominence between the 16th and 19th centuries, but especially in the early 20th century during World War I. As the Ottoman Empire had entered the war on the side of the Germans and Austrians, the British encouraged Arab revolts in the region, promising Arabs the creation of a vast Islamic caliphate starting in present-day Lebanon and Syria, passing through Iraq, and ending in the southern tip of the Arabian Peninsula. In exchange for this promise, Arabs launched a major revolt in 1916 that forced the Ottomans to divide their forces, hastening their defeat in the war. However, when the war ended, the British reneged on their promise, accepting the decision of the League of Nations, which involved the creation of several countries in the area, resulting in the establishment of two temporary mandates, one French and one British, covering present-day Iraq, Jordan, Israel, West Bank, and the Gaza Strip. This decision by the League of Nations, the predecessor of the United Nations, deeply angered the Arabs, who started major revolts in the area. Jews, who had been continuously present in the region, also revolted, seeing an opportunity for the creation of a Jewish state. The Arab and Jewish revolts began to attract Jews scattered around the world, converging to the region. This movement further infuriated the Arabs, who began to see the Jews as a threat to the creation of the dreamed Islamic caliphate. It was during this time that the name Palestine, associated with an Arab state in the context of two states sharing the region, began to be used again. Israel was chosen as the name for the Jewish state, a reference to the Kingdom of Israel that arose in that region in 1040 before the Common Era. In 1947, just 2 years after the end of World War II, the newly founded United Nations advanced with a plan to partition the region, with 50% for the Arabs and 50% for the Jews. The Jews accepted the partition, and on May 14, 1948, when the last British soldier left the region, the State of Israel was founded. It is important to note that Israel was established within the borders set by the United Nations resolution for that region. However, the Arabs, who still dreamed of a vast caliphate in the region, did not accept the partition and invaded Israel the next day. Israel emerged victorious, but as a consequence of this war, the territories reserved for the creation of an Arab state were invaded, with the current Gaza Strip being occupied by Egypt and the West Bank by Jordan. The concept of the Palestinian movement, as we know it today, effectively emerged in the early 1960s, led by an Egyptian named Yasser Arafat, who founded Fatah, the main Arab faction that would later form the PLO, Palestine Liberation Organization, established in 1964. As for the flag of Palestine, prominently visible in recent demonstrations, it was created in 1964 by the PLO. This historical summary makes it clear that both Islamic and Jewish presence in the region, dating back to around 660, before the Common Era, and with Jews living in the area continuously for over 3,000 years, deserve to have their own states in those lands. This dream began to fade with the war initiated by the Arabs in opposition to the United Nations partition plan and continues to be a challenging dream in the 20th century, this time hindered by Hamas, another Palestinian faction advocating for the existence of a single Arab state in the region. They seek to achieve this ambition exclusively through war and terrible, cowardly terrorist attacks against civilians.